I love Christmas, but as long as I keep living in Puerto Rico, it's gonna be summer all year long. I just realized that I have never introduced myself on my channel, so hi. If you're new here, my name is Alondra, but sometimes I go by Jade on the internet because my own name makes me cringe. So until I feel comfortable, then we're gonna keep using that name. I just hate the sound of it in English for some reason. But welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be talking about the books I wanna read in December, or let's just say my hopefuls, because even the term TBR, it's kind of like unrealistic, at least for me. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm behind on my Goodreads challenge by like 4 books. So I think it's more than appropriate to have only 4 books, although I think I might add one more just in case I'm not feeling one of those. So we're gonna get into that. I want to start with the book that I am currently reading, which is Kingdom of the Curse. This is the second book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series by Kerri Maniscalco. So far, I am like 56% into the book, and it is entertaining. It's not consuming me as much as I liked it to, but it's definitely not boring. It feels like that book where it's just telling you about how everything's like building up. So hopefully by the end of this, I end up mind blown. I think it's gonna be, I would say like a 3.5 in 4 stars. The last book, I think I gave it 4 stars, and it was actually very good. So I hope it goes the same for this one. If you haven't heard about this series, it's about twin sisters who are witches, and they're born into a family who owns a restaurant which is called Sea and Vine. So you see like a lot of elements of food and culture, although it's not like the time period is not explicit. So I think it's just up to you to imagine where it could be, because there's a lot of fantasy elements in it too, and I love that about it. I really like Kerri's writing. It's kind of addicting and satisfying. I think that's the only way I can put it. When Emilia's sister Victoria ends up murdered, it's not a spoiler, okay? It's not a spoiler, bear with me. It's literally in the blurb. She decides to avenge her sister's murder and see who did it and, take matters into her own hands. But in order to do that, she thinks she's gonna be able to achieve that if she forms an alliance with the Prince of Wrath. The Prince of Wrath is one of the 7 princes of hell, which are in the book, and they're based in like the 7 deadly sins. So you hear about lust, greed, envy, sloth, and I think I'm missing one. But I think we only get to see 3 in the first book. However, her grandmother has always warned her against the princes of hell eventually getting to roam the earth. Obviously, by Emilia forming that alliance, she's going against her Nana's rules, and it's all just downhill from there. So it's very interesting. It's nice to see how their relationship develops, because it's kind of like an enemies to lovers. I'm not gonna say that, because it's more complicated than that. But you see like them arguing and stuff and snapping at each other, and the sassiness is all over the place. I love it. I love Emilia's character. I love Wrath. He reminds me of Rhysand a little bit, like physical appearance wise, because Wrath is kind of like a douchebag. We love him for that. He's not real, so it's acceptable, right? As long as he's not cheating, anything is acceptable. The book I'm going to talk about now, I will force myself to read this during or before the week of Christmas, just so I can get in the mood, because honestly, as a retail employee, Christmas doesn't feel real anymore. So you know exactly what I'm talking about, and it's just so sad. So I love Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year, and it's finally here. So I think it would be extremely appropriate to read A Court of Frost and Starlight. But there's like this thing going on. Like, there's people with mixed feelings about this book. Some people hated it. Some people loved it. Loved it because it has like a very wholesome, cozy vibe to it. But at the same time, people didn't like it because there was no action. At least that's what I've heard. So it's just like a Christmas special, a filler Christmas special episode. I think that's the way people have been putting it, and I'm like, okay, why not? Like, if maybe I understand that if you went with the expectation that something was gonna go down and then you're just disappointed because nothing happened, I understand that. But I'm already sold with the wholesomeness. And like, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's like multiple POVs. So I'm really excited to hear about that too. I know ACOTAR 6 is in the works right now, and I really don't know how to feel about that because I know that eventually it's gonna end, and I am literally so attached to this series. By the way, if you haven't heard about this series, the ACOTAR series, like, what is wrong with you? I'm not even gonna talk. Don't talk to me. Click out of this video. I don't know how to summarize it for you though, in a way that I don't spoil it. Right now, I don't feel capable for that. But I really want to give this a shot, even if I'm probably going to give it like 3 stars. 3 stars is good for me. I don't know about you. According to my system, 3 stars is all right. Like, okay, I gave. But would I sell my soul for it? No. But I gave. You understand what I'm saying. So this next book I have seen all over my Bookstagram, all over my YouTube, when I watch my little silly reading vlogs that I love to watch before I go to sleep and while I eat and read. You're already gonna know already by me saying this, and it's not Fourth Wing. I'm gonna let you guess. Yes. Yippee! It's Powerless. I've grown extremely curious because I've seen it all over my TikTok too. I've heard that it gives people the vibes of like Hunger Games and stuff because one of the main characters is like competing in trials. What I loved about the cover was that it said hunted, hunter, destined for each other. And it reminds me so much of the Serpent and Dove series. I love that series so much because it was about like a witch and a witch hunter. So you know what goes down, they fall in love, blah, 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 blah. And it kind of gave me the same vibe. Obviously, I know it's not the same type of book. It gave me the same vibe. I know exactly what I'm talking about in my head. I'm really excited to give this a try. I really do not know how to summarize this well enough for you so you understand because I didn't read it. But I just love also that the dedication says, for every girl who has ever felt powerless. Girl, thank you. Like, thank you. That is so thoughtful. I love you. Thank you. I don't know you, but I love you. I decided to get this book digitally because I am desperate. Even if I am desperate and it'll probably take me like 2 months to actually read this, I still want to have it immediately accessible. Plus, paperbacks are like so expensive nowadays. Like, hello? I think my predictions for that book would be 3.52 or 4 stars. I hope I give it 5 stars. I haven't had a 5-star read for a while now. I miss being entirely consumed by a book. I need that. That's what I need. The next book I would like to read is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. And I don't have this book yet with me because I'm debating whether to buy it physical or digitally. I'll probably do it digitally because once again, I do not want to wait, and they don't have that book here in Puerto Rico, or at least to the bookstore that I go all the time. I haven't read any hockey romance or like any sports romance in general ever since I finished reading The Deal by Elle Kennedy. It was an okay-ish book, but after that I was like, okay, I'm not gonna continue the series because it just wasn't for me. But I've heard so many great things about this book, and I actually want to give it a chance. And I know that it's about a girl who's like a figure skater, professional figure skater, while the guy is like a hockey player. And I see one of my favorite YouTubers fangirling over hockey players all the time, and I'm like, okay, girly, now I want to read it. The last book that I want to add would be Hunting Adeline. This is from the Cat and Mouse duet. This is the second book. I think it's only like 2 books. And I read the first one, and if you haven't heard about this series, it's a dark romance, okay? It's a dark romance. So I suggest reading into the trigger warnings. Go ahead and have fun if you actually think it's gonna be fine. It touches strong subjects, so that's why I'm saying it. But overall, the first book was actually really good. So and it ends in a cliffhanger. So obviously I have to read the second one. I got it on my Kindle, so I don't have it physically here with me because for some reason it feels, when I got the first book, it felt so much like print on demand. And it was so heavy. I'm like, girly, this is so heavy. It hurt my arm to read, so I had to get it on my Kindle too. But I got the second book on Kindle, and I'm very excited to read it because I just want to see what happens next. And Sade Meadows is insane, but like Y'all cannot imagine how excited I was when I found out that the author is Puerto Rican. I started hearing our anthem in the back of my head. Thank you so much, HD Carlton. Really, like, I thank you. Me and my manager were raving about this book like last year because we were buddy reading it. So, oh my God, she already read the second one because I was reading something else, but now I'm gonna read it. Not now, obviously, but you know what I mean. We're gonna see how that turns out because maybe I just need therapy and I'm like mentally ill, but the book was so good. So if you're into dark romance, then I suggest you get into that. But read the trigger warnings first though. It's very interesting. So I hope I am not being like down in the second one. I know the second one is apparently like stronger and worse. So I need to prepare myself mentally for that. But I am so excited to get into that because the first book was... So that is all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoy this video and actually found any of my future reads interesting, and I want to learn about yours too. If you have read any of these books, make sure to let me know because I would also love to hear your opinion about them. You can also follow me on Goodreads because I usually share my progress in there, and also my Instagram. I'm more active there once again, and I am trying my best. Yippee! Once I'm done with Kingdom of the Curse, I'll make sure to post a reading vlog because lately I've been into those so much. I love watching them when I'm getting ready. I love watching them when I'm eating. I love watching them when I'm getting ready to sleep. I love watching them when I'm reading. Well, not watching, like having them in the background. But it's just so entertaining and it feels like we're hanging out. I've been following specific YouTubers lately and it feels like we're friends, but they don't know it. That would be all for today. I'm in the mood for buying some books. I think I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna go on Amazon because everything is like so expensive in Barnes & Noble. I'm sorry, no shade, but it's like, it's insane. If I can get a hardcover for $16 in Amazon, I'm not gonna spend $27 in Barnes & Noble. I'm just saying. So thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a thumbs up if you actually liked it. And subscribe so I can get a new mic because my karaoke mic died and betrayed me. And I am refilming this video once again. I'll see you in the next one.